So I can see myself.
Okay. We are hearing you, right? Okay.
Yeah, I know you're here. I wondered if I could get my picture
Okay,
out of it. It's just possible.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Pleasant day, everybody. Good day, Mr. Neptune. Good day, Garel Neptune. Good day to you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Dion Lafuka, Technical Director for the Trinidad Football Association. It gives me great pleasure in welcoming each and every one of you here today. So as usual, we're going to start with a prayer before I introduce our esteemed guest. So, dear God, thank you for this opportunity to again gather as coaches to enhance our knowledge in the game. We also remember anybody who's suffering at this point in time, help them to be comforted. Those who need food and different things that they're struggling with, we ask you to help them. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. So again, welcome everybody. My name is Dion Lafuka, and I would now like to turn you over to introduce Mr. Merere Gonzales, who, when you look at his resume, it's very, very extensive. He is a former World Cup referee, assistant referee, an instructor, a tutor in the laws of the game, somebody who is very, very versed in the laws of the game. He's also our current president of the Trinidad Secondary Schools Football League, right? So he holds many, many hats. So without any further ado, I would like to welcome you, Merere, and to come and share your knowledge with us, because as we know as coaches, sometimes we ourselves don't fully understand the laws of the game, and it's something that we would love some assistance with this afternoon. So again, Merere, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dion Lafuka, Technical Director of the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association Normalization Committee. Certainly, it's a distinct pleasure and honor to be part of your coaching series, which I want to say up front, and that I am extremely impressed with the initiative taken towards this very, very meaningful, positive, and productive exercise. I'm seeing it as a really learning process for each and everyone who takes the opportunity to be part of it. So I'm very honored to be part of it, and I want to thank you so kindly, Dion, and Yale Antoine, who is the technical person in the background doing the much deserved needed work. I also want to recognize every single person who has responded to this exercise today, for every individual, because it's so important, my friends, that in the game of football, one is to truly wonder, if we were to even look at the flyer that was sent out, if you're in the business of coaching, it is only fair that you understand the basic 17 laws of the game. And more importantly, if you're coaching your charges, they would be expected to understand the laws of the game also. It is said, and it is very truthful, that a coach and all players who understand the laws of the game, the intricacies of it, the interpretation, the correct interpretation, and the application of the laws, they always are in an advantageous position over technical staff and or players who are ignorant to the laws of the game. As a matter of fact, I can remember distinctly several years ago, right at the Hazley Crawford Stadium, Trinidad and Tobago playing United States of America, not in the World Cup qualifier, but this is an under-20 CONCACAF qualifying tournament. A foul was committed, as in the eyes of the referee, just about midway in the half of the TNT's zone. A free kick was supposed to be given to the Americans. And when the foul was committed, the referee correctly blew and indicated a free kick. The Americans took a rapid free kick, I repeat, a rapid free kick and they scored. And with all due respect, Trinbagonians, the Trinidad and Tobago Soca Warriors, they were complaining. What happened there simply is that the Americans knew fully well in a free kick, there are two types of free kick. You have a rapid free kick can be taken, and you have the ceremonial free kick. Unfortunately, we took some time in order to try and create a wall, but it is not necessarily for a wall to be created if the opposing team decides to take a rapid free kick, which is what they did, and they scored. So they benefited from it because they realized there and then there are two types of kick can be taken when a foul has been awarded and a free kick has been awarded to them. I also want to recognize that in the 2006 World Cup in Germany, as one of the FIFA instructors there, had the honor and the privilege to be part of the instructors team that had the responsibility of going to the various teams in their hotels prior to the commencement of the World Cup and share with them vital clippings and teachings as well as videos on pertinent aspects of the laws of the game. And I had the privilege of being the one chosen to address the team from Trinidad and Tobago, first time at the World Cup, in which we had Mr. Leo Ben-Hacker as the head coach. And it shows there and then the importance of how FIFA looks at ensuring, even before the commencement of a World Cup or any other type of tournament of such caliber, that it is important that the technical staff and more so the coach and coaches, as well as the players of the respective teams, are on the same or given the same opportunity and platform to be given the same information, so that therefore any pursuing of cards, if necessary, yellow and or red, then all teams will be very much aware as to the reasoning or the reasons as to why they have been given to the respective players. So such an exercise is a very important one. Referees remain a critically important stakeholder in the game of football. We know fully well they are the administrators, the players, the coaches, which includes the other areas of the technical staff, and also the referees or the match officials in this case. Match officials being the referees, assistant referees, the fourth official, which we call all of them basically match officials now. And also you have the introduction of the quite recently inclusion of the VAR, visual assistant referee. I want to recognize in our midst some significant figures. Not that not everybody is not important, certainly, but I think I saw Mr. Abu Bakr, present national senior soccer warrior. And also I'm seeing Adish Dorika, who is one of the renowned match commissioners we have in the Super League with us, as well as my friend, long outstanding friend in refereeing, who has also traveled various parts of the world as a FIFA assistant referee and also physical education teacher right now, and very much involved in the secondary school football league, Mrs. Linda Bramble Thompson. Thank you so kindly for gracing us with your presence. Can I ask now, Yale, could you just go to a particular slide? I want you to look at it closely and you will answer it based on the poll. So look at this diagram and you will determine, my soccer people or football people, is this a goal or no goal? So just quickly click on either one and then you submit. All right. As it is right now, 7 out of 12. Going good, lovely. Very interesting. Oh my. 10 out of 12, just there's about 2 more persons. It would be very good if you engage in it. If you could get answers from everyone, that would be great. And we'll have a discussion on it. Right, so we will close the poll in the next 2 seconds. All right, I think we could stop it there now, Yale.
Okay.
Right, so we have 12 persons, 10 voting, 8 saying goal, and 2 saying no goal. So could I just want to be able to see, could we have some persons, or the 2 persons, or the persons who said goal, could you say why you said goal? Anybody, at any time you could speak. Share with us. Unmute your mics and share. You have said goal. Why have you said goal?
Coach Devonish here.
Yes.
The reason I said goal is because I'm seeing the ball on the white line and a space between the white line and the ball.
Okay then, lovely. Thank you very much. Anybody else who said goal want to share? Come on, feel free.
Coach Neptune here.
Lovely.
The whole ball is over the line.
Right.
So I say goal.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing. Let's take about 1 or 2 more answers quickly. Goal or no goal? Those who said goal, let's hear from you, please.
I'm Merere Gonzales here. The ball is clearly over the goal line. The law speaks to the goal line and not the goal post.
Okay, okay, thank you. And can we have one more person? Since we had more persons saying goal, which were 8 persons. One more? Going once, going twice. We now have 16 persons inside. Third and final time, anybody who said goal wants to share with us? All right, if not, then we go to the persons who said no goal. And I think we saw 2 persons saying no goal. Could you share why you said no goal? Hello? The 2 persons who said no goal, could you share why quickly, please? Why you said no goal?
Hi, Colin here.
Mm-hmm.
The goal line supposed to be right across. If you watch in the pic, the goal line is in front of the goalpost.
Yes, yes.
And the ball is not behind the goalpost, so we're not sure where the goal line is.
Okay.
I mean, watch where the goalpost is. So that was my say no goal.
Okay, thank you very much. The other person wishes to share? All right, it doesn't seem so. Okay, so let's break it down quickly before we move on to another very interesting part of our exercise. Very interesting remarks made by all. It does indicate that this is the goal line that we are on. And it is very correct to say that there should be daylight between the goal line and the ball, which is what we are basically seeing there, right? The goal line and the ball. And it is also safe to say, well, it has crossed the goal line and it is supposed to be now in the area where it is under the goal net. Let's look now at the law 1, which is the field of play. And we would all agree that the goal post is supposed to be located where? Anybody? Where is the goal post supposed to be located?
On the goal line.
On the goal line, good, beautiful. So if it is supposed to be located on the goal line, then you will safely say now that the goal post is incorrectly placed or positioned where it is. Now we know fully well that in a FIFA run tournament, something of such nature will not occur. And most likely this might be in a grassroots level game of a field where a marking took place. So if the goal post is supposed to be on the goal line, and we are seeing that the goal post is not on the goal line, the question therefore is to be asked, should the game have been played or not? Hello? Should the game have been started? Should the referee have started such a game?
No, should not.
Right, lovely.
Proper
So
regulations are followed.
that's correct. So the markings of the field are very important, and referee is supposed to check to make sure that everything is in place. So therefore, in order to avoid any discrepancies, in order to avoid bringing the game into disrepute, markings of such nature, it means that the demarcation of the appurtenances of the field, in this case, the goal posts, are not properly in line with the goal line, and the law says that the goal post is supposed to be on the goal line, which should be of the same width of the goal line. And in this case, it is not properly positioned. So therefore, the game is not even supposed to start. So in this case, we'll have to safely say that even though we have on top, is it a goal or no goal, we'll definitely have to go the way of saying no goal. Not to say that the game will start, but in this case, it cannot be counted. And even if it was a start, right, with the error by the match official, then in this case, it cannot be considered as a goal because the incorrect position of the goal post of where it is at this time, and it's supposed to be, as the law says in law, one, the field of play is supposed to be on the goal line, all right? I hope we appreciate and understand what was just given there. Any questions on it?
So what about, it have some goals that could move, right?
Yes.
Well, if for some reason the goalkeeper during the game I play, like from a corner kick or something, the goal could have shift.
Right. So I am saying, Clint Macmillan, that in cases where goalposts are easily moved, then it should supposed to ensure before the game is started that those type of goalposts are not to be easily moved. You know why? Because a goalkeeper could simply, or any player could simply shift the goalpost when they are either to capitalize as an attacker or a defender. So you don't want that happening in a game.
But that's what I'm telling you, this situation, they're looking like one of them situations like that.
Right. Right, but we know that the goalpost is supposed to be steady and in place. But what we have is replaceable goalposts in the event that a goal may have been destroyed, maybe cannot be used anymore because it may be struck by a ball and broken. Then you have the opportunity to replace it with another goalpost. But again, a goalpost that is put in position and could remain very steady, and simply because of the fact that shots will be taken, very forceful shots that can hit the bar or the upright, and if you want the goalpost to still remain in position. So you don't want one that is easily removable. All right? Good, so thank you very much. Could we now move on to some questions? And we have 20 questions actually, but I'm just going to ask for every 2 questions, we'll do the first 10. And again, it's just, this is not to put anybody on the spot, but it's just for you to get an idea of how much you know and what you know. Right? Just indicate there's supposed to be another answer, Yale, for question 2, because there are 4 answers to each one. Is it right? Okay, could it go up a little more so they could see it? Right, so could you just answer these questions? And maybe you could write it down on your paper. You could maybe put it up in the chat. Good. We have basically we'll give a 30 seconds, 20 to 30 seconds for each question. Right, we have about 30 seconds again. And if you look carefully, you will see each question indicates which law the question is being derived from. Right, about 10 seconds again. Lovely. Good. So we move to question 3 and 4. Lovely. Great. Again, just about 25 seconds, 30 seconds to answer. Usually it's a little less than that, especially for referees when we have exercises with them. But we know that while we have persons here with refereeing backgrounds, not everyone may have a refereeing background. Just about 20 seconds again. Ten. Great. So could we move on to 5 and 6? Twenty seconds more. Ten. Great. We now move to 7 and 8. Twenty more. Ten more. Right. And let's have a look now at 9 and 10. And we'll have a look at your answers. The KFPM is kicked from the penalty mark, right? For those who may not be aware of the terminology, KFPM kicks from the penalty mark. I'm not seeing the D for question 10, Yale. Lovely.
Yeah, D isn't showing up.
It's not showing up. All right, so I will, if D is not showing up, I'll just give everybody a big hint. D is not the answer. So, so you have either A, B, C to choose from. D is not the answer for question number 10. So you have out of 3. All right, 20 more. All right, lovely, great. So we're coming back out now and we're going quickly back to question 1. I don't know. What is more important here? We not, don't be too particular if you get the answer right or wrong. It's all a learning process. It's just a brainstorm, icebreaker to see where you are as far as the laws of the game is concerned as coaches. So when we look at number 1, we're looking at it for the correct answer, and usually, especially for the teachers among us, you will know that we try to have that process of elimination. So sometimes trying to get exactly the correct answer right away could be a bit tricky. So sometimes you eliminate in multiple choice the one that is totally wrong, the one that is simply wrong, the one that appears to be correct, and then the only one that is the correct answer. So for question 1, select the correct answer, and that will be the distance from the penalty mark to the penalty arc is 9.15 meter, which is C. 2, select the correct answer. And the answer there will be the new logos are FIFA Quality Pro, and FIFA Basic. So that's B, question 2B. So take note of that the balls that are officially supposed to be used now, right, in any well-organized, established football competition that using the FIFA rules, and unless they have competition rules, the 3 logos expected on the ball to be officially under FIFA guidance is FIFA Quality Pro, and FIFA Basic. So that's 2. Number 2B, let's have a look at 3 and 4. Again, selecting the correct answer. And the answer here will be A, 3A. The number of substitution has been increased to 5 with 3 substitution period during the play. There's an issue concerning substitutions now, and that is, there's a lot of information based on the medical committee of FIFA, where they have included the number of substitution, and also with the upcoming, in particular with the upcoming World Cup to be held in Qatar, where the heat is of a certain level. It's always about safeguarding the players and protecting the players. So 3A. Number 4, select the correct answer, and the goalkeeper could either wear a short pants if he wishes or she wishes, or they could wear long track pants. Let's move on to 5 and 6. Again, we're looking for the correct answer here. And if you are aware of the dimensions now for the technical area, you would know where it is now 1 meter on either side of the bench and up to 1 meter from the touch line. Yes, so the answer is 5B. The Americans, I would want to say, has been very instrumental in getting this adjusted, because in years gone by, we would have been almost 5, 6, 7, 8 meters away from the touch line. But just like basketball, very close to the touch line now, it is now 1 meter away as far as the FIFA rule is concerned in soccer or football. Number 6. The answer is A. The referee can decide to play with ball that have no logos because he's the boss. Remember, we're looking at the incorrect answer. While the referee may be considered as the leader of the team of match officials, and I won't not use the word boss, is not the one to decide if to play the game that have no logos on the board. It has to be within the tournament or the competition rules. So let's look at 7 and 8. And with 7, we're looking for the incorrect answer. So it's very easy. Just look for the three correct answers and you end up with the incorrect one. So 7, C, the referee adds time for the referee adds time for injury, substitution, wasting time, drink breaks, celebration. Not actually C, sorry, my mistake, it is 7B. Actually 7C is correct, so it's 7B is the answer. Incorrect, which means that the interval should be no more than 15 minutes. Question 8, the answer is, we're looking at the incorrect answer. The cooling break is given when a captain requests it. The captain of a team has privileges, but his privileges pertain to leading his team. It has nothing concerning dealing with anything pertaining to organizational, administrative, or on the laws of the game. So 8D is the answer. And the next two, number 9, looking for the correct answer here, and it will be 9B, just before for the commencement of the kicks from the penalty mark. If one team has 10 players, while another team has 11 players, at the end of ordinary time, even extra time, and go to kicks from the penalty mark, the law indicates now that the team that has 11 has to decide which of its players will be removed from the field, so that both teams will now have 10 players each. So you start off that level of equality, which is part of the critical part of refereeing. And number 10, you're looking for the incorrect answer. The coin is tossed only one time if the game has to be decided, but from kicks from the penalty mark. All right, that is incorrect. All right, as a matter of fact, there's 2 toss that will take place. One to determine which of the goal posts that will be used, and the second one to determine who is going to take the kick. Good. So let's so that brings us to the end of the first 10 questions. So how did you all fare? How did you all do? How did you all perform? How did you what do you think about the exercise?
Well,
yes,
I did well because I just completed that in the match commissioner's course.
Yes,
Mr.
yes.
Gonzales.
And I would expect you to have done well. All right. But having said that, I think we have some other interesting questions, and we will see it as we move into the slides. All right. So we're going back to the PowerPoint presentation, Yale. And again, as we say, you know, this is just to determine where you are as far as your understanding, and it's all about appreciating the fact where we are with our knowledge of the laws of the game. Now, I want us to remember something, please, everybody. In the flyer, you would have seen on the right-hand side of the flyer speaks about the interpretation and the application. One does not go without the other one, which means as a referee, or even as a coach, as a trainer, as a manager, whatever aspect you fulfill in the team, a parent, guardian, etc. supporter, you must be able to interpret the laws, the 17 laws, but interpreting is one thing, the application is the next. So it's like a beautiful marriage between interpretation and application. So you can imagine if the interpretation of the law is incorrect, then the application will also be affected if the interpretation is initially interpreted incorrectly. Let's continue with the next slide. As we know in the game, we have assistant referees. Here the referees going through their pieces. Next slide. A few of the tools used by the referees. All right. Very, very important. They are universal, as we could see here. Yellow and red. They speak a certain language that everybody understands. Next. And then we have the introduction of the VAR recently within the last World Cup. And they also have a critically important part to play, even though there will be views for and against it. The whole intention of the visual assistant referee or video assistant referee is to now assist the match officials to such a point that nothing will basically escape the match official, but they will now be able to be provided assistance. And I guess as I'm on this, I will speak about it very quickly, so we can get a very good understanding of it. With the video assistant referees, who, as you can see up in the slide there on the left-hand side, where you have one who looks closely at decisions to be made by the assistant referee, and there's also another video analysis who looks at decisions to assist the referee. If an incident occurs in the game and the referee requests assistance, he will ask the VAR, could you have a look at it and give me some assistance as to the decision that I've arrived at? So they will either confirm the decision that the referee has decided on, or they may have a different decision, totally different to what he has given. They will ask him or her if he wishes to view the monitor, which you see on the right-hand side. He is entitled as the main referee if he wishes to check the monitor. He can ignore that and he could stick to his decision, or he could view the monitor. But before viewing the monitor, he will give, just like in cricket now, he will give the gesture of going to check the monitor. After checking the monitor, it's basically to determine if he agrees with the information being given by the VAR. And most likely when he returns, that will be an indication if he agreed or disagree, which means if he is sticking to his decision or he's changing his decision based on what would have happened. Now, please bear in mind that a referee can change his or her decision at any point in time in a game, as long as he or she does it before the resumption of the game. If the game was to be restarted, it means whatever decision was given before, it has to remain. I think I saw a question in the chat.
Yeah, the question, Merere, comes from Ralph Stowe, and he's asking, is VAR objective or there is still some subjectivity in decision making?
No, they are not subjective. As a matter of fact, this is something that FIFA has been trying for the longest while to refrain from. But I guess with the introduction of the new president now, the election of the new president, he has seen it fit now to bring on board the VAR. Yes, the VAR is also being managed by human beings. But because they are managing the system based on cameras that are at various angles, And because these cameras are at strategic positions, sometimes incident may just occur on the blind side of the assistant referee, as well as referee, and even fourth official. And if the VAR was to see something that maybe he or she feels that the match official down on the field may have missed, it is therefore imperative and necessary for them to bring it to the attention of the referee, and he will deal with it accordingly. So there's a lot more objectivity now to ensure that the correct decisions are made and to minimize the level of controversy that were there before. However, remember, it's a new implementation of a system. We live in a world where sometimes there is a level of resistance or pushback to innovation or new things. Sometimes people find it quite difficult to adjust to change, but change is inevitable. And as long as anything can be done to assist the match officials with making the correct decisions, then that be the case. And in this case, we have the VAR. Now, I would like you to also know that the VAR primarily focuses on 4 specific areas in assisting the match officials on the field. 1, to assist with an incident to determine if it's a goal, if it's a correct offside decision, or if it's a foul or no foul, as the case might be. So they assist with goal, offside, and or fouls as the game progresses. Also to determine the decision on a penalty or no penalty. That means within the penalty area, which is actually the critical area in the game of football, of which can determine if a goal could be allowed or not. So then the VAR will assist with incidents inside of the penalty area. And this will be leading towards whether there's a penalty or no penalty. Again, offside or no offside. The third aspect they're responsible for is assisting with determining if a particular incident is a direct red card offense, which means if the incident occurred, deserves a red card. And the fourth and final role that they play with assisting the match official is to determine if there is any issue pertaining to mistaken identity of players. You can imagine, for example, in Asia with South Korea and Japanese and Chinese, etc., who seem to look very alike, even though you're supposed to look for numbers on the back of the players or even numbers on the pants, that you don't want to make the mistake of giving the incorrect card or the card to the incorrect player. So the VAR will assist in that particular area. But I just want us to remember something with the VAR. They are there to assist the match officials. So again, the referee can determine if he wishes to accept the assistance or not. But remember, there's going to be a debriefing session the following day where video clips of incidents on the match, the night or evening or morning before will be dealt with. So the referee has to hope that he or she, when they made their decision, even being given assistance by the VAR, and if they were to ignore it, and if they were to be wrong, then they pay the penalty and the price of being on the plane, on the first list, to be sent back when there is releasing of referees after the initial part of the tournament before they go to the knockout stages. So again, but then we speak about in refereeing the angle, the ball, the closeness, the ABC concept, be at an angle where you can see the best angle. Also, when the incident occurred, where is the ball? Seeing where the ball is, and also close enough so your decisions can be creditable. So again, the VAR is there to assist, and it is wise that if noted assistance is given, that it is appreciated. As Linda is quite rightly mentioning here, yes, we are very happy to know that the VAR system was used in the recently concluded Gold Cup tournament. Good. Okay, so could we continue with the slide? Thank you very much. Right, and we continue, yes, field of play. Right, and this is basically the areas. Now I want you to look at where the penalty mark is. Let's look at the penalty area on the left-hand side of the screen. Look at where the penalty mark is, and look where the penalty arc is. That curve right on the line of the penalty area that is parallel to the goal line. Now remember, this is basically 18 yards from the goal line to the penalty line. Players are supposed to be 10 yards away when a free kick is taken. In this case, it's a penalty kick. So the penalty arc here will basically be 4 yards, and the remainder of the 12 yards to make up 18 will be 6. So 6 and 4 will make 10 yards, and that is why the question earlier speaks about the distance from the penalty mark to the penalty arc is 9.15 meters, which equates to the 10 yards. That's the reason for it. If you were to go across in the corner arc, any one of the corner arcs, you would realize now in more established competition, there will be a mark that is 10 yards away, not from the flag. The 10 yards will be out, it's 10 yards away from the corner arc. And that allows now that same 9.15 meter or 10 yards away from a free kick, in this case, which is a corner kick. We should know by now, if we come to the center circle, after the toss has been taken and the particular captain wins the toss, he now decides which goal he's attacking. Long time you used to decide if you want to touch the ball off first or if you want to say which side you're taking. Now you have to decide which goal you're attacking, and that's simply because FIFA wants to see attacking play, because goals are what excite the spectators, and that's what it is about football. With all due respect to goalkeepers, because you can also have some exciting saves. So that's another area of excitement in the game. So when you have that opportunity, you now have the kickoff. Years gone by, you have to kick the ball forward, must kick it forward. The law as it is now, recent times, you can kick it backwards into your own half, and game is normal, is into normal play. If we go to the penalty area here now on the right-hand side, in years gone by, and not too far, because in recent times, very recent times, the ball had to, from a goal kick taken by the goalkeeper or one of his teammates, the ball had to come out of the penalty area to be considered in play. Now, the law states that you can play the ball within your penalty area, and ensuring then at that point in time that the opposing players are all outside of the penalty area. But again, the spirit of it indicates that if a player is moving out, an opposing player, and the defending team decides to take the kick before that player comes out of the penalty area, then that will also be permitted, because he had the option to either wait for the opposing players to come out of the box or play it while they are inside with the attempt when they're moving out. Good. It comes just like a free kick. They're supposed to be that 10 yards or 9.15 meters where the opponents will move away from the free kick. But again, if in moving away, while moving away from the free kick, if the team decides to take the free kick, which is a rapid free kick, and the player who is defending the kick is moving away, and he may have reached about 6 yards away, and he's moving away and he was to impede the ball, then nothing is wrong with that, because the team decided to take the kick while the player was moving away, and you didn't get your 9.15 meters as yet because you choose to play a rapid free kick. Now, it's very safe to say that if it's a ceremonial free kick, the referee will indicate to wait on the whistle. As you will see them with their spray, they will spray the spot where the ball is supposed to be placed, and they will also spray the spot where the players are supposed to be taken a position, and it is only when on the instructions or indication of the referee with the whistle, then that ceremonial free kick will be taken. Any questions here? If not, we're moving on.
Merere, just
Yes.
an explanation in terms of the rapid and the ceremonial free kicks.
Sure.
I know that the referee would indicate in the term in terms of the ceremonial, but does he determine, or is it to the players taking the free kick? Do they determine that?
As
Because
long
of
as,
course,
yeah, as long as the team gives up the right to use the rapid free kick, it means now the referee knows that they would like to have a ceremonial free kick. Now, this is situational, because sometimes they may not be able to play the rapid free kick because players will be on top of the ball. As we know, Abubakar here as a defender, right, and as a player, and others will run on the ball. As come coach will tell them stand up on the ball, which is a risky thing, because you could also be cautioned for that, because you are delaying the restart of play. But there are players who will do it with the expectation that the referee will now tell them, okay, stop, wait. And as long as the referee stops now, it means that it has moved from a rapid free kick to a ceremonial free kick. And it is only on the instructions of the referee whistle, the referee's whistle, then the kick can be taken. Okay, Adish?
yes, thank you very much.
You're welcome. A question here from Solomon. What happens after a team commits an offense that VAR picks up? Something I'm missing it. Let me see.
After that offending,
What happens after a team commits an offense, right, that VAR picks up after that offending scores a goal? Right. Now, again, we will say, if anything can be changed by the match officials with the assistance of the VAR before the game has been resumed. If, however, the game has been resumed, whatever happened in the past cannot be changed. It does have to continue. So it is the hope that with the introduction of the VAR now, that nothing will basically escape the match officials, right? Inclusive of a goal, right? Or no goal. Okay, Solomon? Could we continue?
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Gonzales? Gonzales?
Question here? Is it
Yeah,
on?
no, Gonzales?
Yes, just identify who you are, please. We are hearing you. Go ahead.
this is Ralph Stowe. Ralph, go ahead.
Yes, Ralph, so go ahead with your question or comment.
So the question is with regards to the rapid ceremonial free kick.
Yes.
Is it other than a penalty? Can it be safely said that a free kick is first of all a rapid free kick?
If I repeat your question, please. I didn't follow you clearly.
Other than a penalty kick, right?
Yes.
Is it safe to say that a free kick outside of the penalty area, of course, is it safe to say it begins as a rapid free kick before it becomes ceremonious, where the team that has the free kick wait for some time, probably to have the referee probably set up a wall or so? Is it should we consider it to be a rapid free kick first of all? Is it the referee that makes that decision in terms of setting a wall and so on and marking the distance? And we notice this happen as you get closer to the opponent penalty area. All right, so good question. As long as there's an incident outside of the penalty areas, both of them, then a free kick is given, and the team decides if they wish to take the rapid free kick, not the referee.
The referee only comes into effect if there are some level of disturbance or disruption with taking the rapid free kick. Then now it becomes a ceremonial free kick where he asks the team to wait on his whistle for the free kick to be taken. But any foul occurring outside the penalty area where a kick is to be given to a team, then the rapid free kick comes first and the team is entitled to take that, not the referee. The referee don't decide on that. But certainly it is situational. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're most welcome. I think Linda, I saw your hand.
Yes, I'm Marie.
Sure.
Good afternoon. Yeah, good afternoon, all. I just wanted to add something to the VAR concerning the question that the person asked. Now, what happens with the VAR once the goal is scored? The VAR is they are in communication with the referee. They will tell the referee to delay the restart. They are checking, and once they pick up an incident, they will tell the referee that they are ordering an on-field review, and they will ask the referee to come to the monitor, and they will give the referee all the information. Because what happened is that they will take 3 seconds before that goal is scored. They will go back and review all the incidents that took place, check for offside, check to see if any incidents were committed before the goal was scored, and they will pass all that information on to the referee. So as soon as that goal is scored, they will tell the referee delay the restart, because once he restarts, then nothing could be done. So they will tell the referee delay, and when they finish check, then they will let him know if they think that he should have an on-field review, and they will call him for that on-field review. Now, with the persons in the VAR, there are certain, the FIFA has a list of considerations that they would be using in order to determine whether or not an offense was committed, so that they will get it correct. Not their own opinions and so forth will be, it would be facts. The information would be facts. Okay, thank you.
Very, very profound contribution there by Linda. And I would be very happy to say that Linda was one out of 2 of our instructors with Neil Brizan, who is presently in Santo Domingo with the CFU under 14 tournament, with 2 of our match officials, Quincy Williams and Nyron Nikolai. They are now engaged in that tournament taking place. So both Neil and Linda would have completed an instructor's online workshop recently. Both of them being instructors in Trinidad and Tobago. So well done, Linda, and thank you very much. And actually, she mentioned something about the consideration, which is critically important. We don't want to go into that particular part because that is not so much of importance to persons who are outside of the refereeing, but just like also referees or ARs who are on the field of play, or even instructors, there are considerations to determine if a foul was committed, no foul, foul no card, foul yellow card, or foul with a red card. So there are certain considerations to arrive at those things, even with the SPA, which is SPA, stopping a promising attack, or DOGSO, which is DOGSO, denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity. There are also considerations for these areas that referees will have to take into consideration before arriving at the decisions. So it is only safe to say, as Linda said, that even the VAR, before they give assistance or ask for assistance when giving it, they would also have to have considerations in giving their assistance. So very noteworthy point there, Linda. Thanks again. Could we continue? Right, now we don't go through this part very quickly. As you would realize, there are certain lines or sentences that are underlined, and those are the ones we're going to focus on, because those are the new aspect of the law now, where the goalpost and crossbar of both goals must be the same shape, same shape, which must be square, rectangle, round, elliptical, or a hybrid of these options. And then the other part here, we spoke about it, where it runs under the auspices of the FIFA, And we look for the FIFA quality program for the footballs that we just mentioned about FIFA Pro, FIFA Quality, FIFA Basic. Next slide. Yes, next slide, please. Next. Lovely, we continue with it there. We know that all advertisement boards should be 1 yard away from the boundary lines. All right, and similarly, that has to take into consideration too the distance away from the nets of the goal, where the goal is located, even inclusive of the extraneous equipment such as cameras and microphones. Next slide. Right, this is the technical area looking at here there, and we spoke about it in one of the questions that you had to answer. We could safely say now where the line, the checkered line, is now 1 meter away from this. Could anybody say what is the name of this line here? Besides Linda and Adish, maybe? What's the name of this line here that is running parallel to the technical area line, checkered line? What's the name of it? Anyone? Anyone? Good fathom? Share? Hello? Answer, what is it?
Touchline.
Right, I seen Kesty Deno saying touchline, we're very well correct. All right. And there's another name for it, touchline or?
Sideline.
Sideline, great, lovely. Touchline or sideline. Touchline or sideline. And you see where now the technical area is 1 meter away from that, where it gives the coach, as you see the person, who is supposed to be one person at any given point in time standing to give instructions. Now, it doesn't have to be the same person every time, but it must be one person at a time. Now, I want you to look at, interestingly, at the substitutes on the bench, because a team is made up of players, the starting 11, the substitutes that are on the bench, and the technical staff, which is on the team list. They must be identified prior to the game so that the correct persons will be in the technical area. But that's why now FIFA has been asking for the 23 players to be identified prior to a game, so that all the substitutes now, unlike before, where you would have only had 7 substitutes on the bench, now you have the 11 on the field, and you have the 12 others now on the bench to choose from. Good. I saw Adish, Adish, yes.
Yes, Merere, thank you so much. This question actually had to do with the previous slide with advertising.
Yes.
Right. There was an incident a couple years ago in a SSFL game. Now, there were 2 games. I was on the second game, but when I got to the stadium, there was a little issue with the officials, right? The match referee and the organizers. What happened was that they would have placed the advertising boards all the way up to the center line. So it means that there were advertising boards in front of the technical area, right? And of course, there was a big issue with that, and they did not want to remove it. And the referee was insisting, well, you know, that it should be removed. And it's only when I intervened, then it was rectified. So just a little explanation in terms of that particular area there with regards to advertising would be appreciated.
Certainly. And around that area, which is at the middle of the field, and between the both technical areas, is supposed to be the area where the 4th official is. And in some cases, you will have maybe another person. Sometimes the match assessor may be there, or the match commissioner, sorry, and or he or she may be up in the stand at the best available position to view the match. But remember, the match commissioner in this case is the one who oversees the entire event of the match, and working along with the match official. It will mean that you do not want that advertising board to be in an area where substitution, and I'm glad Adish brought this one up, where substitution are supposed to officially take place, which means that any player that is coming off the field which will now become, when he comes off the field, he is now identified or labeled as a substituted player. And the substitute, or let me back it up, the one who is coming off the field, he does not have to come off, or she does not have to come off. There's nothing that says that you must come out of the halfway line. But most of them will try to go up there because they want to give a touch and little love and things like that to their partners, or their teammates, I should say. But they should supposed to exit the field at the nearest point at where the substitution is supposed to take, when I mean where they are, when substitution is called for them to depart the field. So if they are in a further part of the field, wherever they're nearer to the touch line or the goal line, they're expected to go off there. When they depart, come off the field, then the official substitute with the instruction of the fourth official by the half line, which means there should be no advertising board there, will now monitor the situation, and then that substitute enters the field. And the minute the one exits the field and the one enters the field, the substitution has been completed, and that substitute has now become an official, legitimate player on the field. All right, so thanks for that observation, Adish.
And Linda was going to make either had a question or wanted to make a point.
Sorry, Merere, I was trying to put my hand back down.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry, well, it's technology.
Yeah, those things happen. Thank you so kindly. Okay, we move to the next slide. Just about 13 past 2. Right, so this is basically what we spoke about, the label of the balls, right? And if there are tournament rules, I want us to bear that in mind. Eh? These are FIFA run competition, and you would expect FIFA logo on the balls. But if the competition rules say slightly differently because they are catering for teams within their competition, then they will adjust it accordingly. But if everything is run strictly under FIFA rules, inclusive of the balls, then the balls must have either one of these 3 logos to be considered as balls that are legitimate balls to be used in the tournament or the game. Let's move on. Right, we're moving on. Basically, it says about the ball. Yes, next slide. Right, number of players. As you can see there, where it mentions about the number of substitutes. And I just would have mentioned something about when a player becomes officially a substitute and a substituted player, right? Then one of your questions that you were asked recently in the first 10, all right? If you look at it below there, you see the substitute only enters during a stoppage in play at the halfway line after the player being replaced has left the field and after receiving a signal from the referee, all right? So just bear that in mind. If you could just shift it up a little bit so we can see the bottom part there, Yale. Is it possible? Just want to see. So just talks about the completion of the substitution procedure. All right, so you just basically itemize it or put it in word there. So you can go to the next slide. Now, I would like us to bear in mind, these are temporary amendments. This one I'm going to talk about now. Eh? These are temporary amendments. As a matter of fact, quite recently, because IFAB, could anybody say when IFAB was established? Which year? Anyone? All right, actually, no one? On the fathom, I guess? All right, well, IFAB was established actually in 1863. And they're the ones who held responsibility as being the 4 countries out of Britain, Wales, Scotland, Ireland, and England, who were primarily at that point in time making the laws of the game, all right, in the initial stage. But then FIFA came on board in 1913, and they established to work along with IFAB And therefore, because FIFA is responsible as the governing body for football, it is only fair that for the administering and the passing of the laws that you have representatives from both organizations. So presently there are 4 from FIFA on the board and also 4 from IFAB. And most of the ones from IFAB are usually the general secretaries. So in order for any law to pass, out of the 8 persons, you must have a 2/3 majority, which means that you must have 6 persons agreeing, 6 persons agreeing to either support or denounce that particular amendment in the law. If they don't get 6, it means that it will not be considered. So at any given time for something to be considered, it means you have to have, well, basically 4 from, it could be 4 from FIFA and 2 from IFAB, or 4 from IFAB or 2 from FIFA. Or maybe 3 from IFAB and 3 from FIFA. Good? As long as it gets to the number of 6. Could anybody say the 7 countries that initially started off in FIFA? There were 7 countries. I'll give you a big hint. In Europe. 7 countries in Europe started off in FIFA. They established the commencement of FIFA. You want to fathom some names of some teams, countries? All right, where is FIFA now located? Hello? Hello, answers? Where is FIFA now located? Right, all right, Randafa correctly.
Switzerland.
Switzerland. So Switzerland is one of the 7 countries. So we have 6 more. Where are the 6 other countries?
Belgium.
Belgium, good. That's 2.
France.
France, good. 3.
Netherlands.
Netherlands, lovely. 4.
Sweden.
Sweden, excellent. 5.
Spain.
Spain, lovely. 6. And we have 1 more that starts with the letter D.
Denmark.
Denmark. Great, man. Hey, Dion, we have some real brilliant people here, boy. Hey?
Most certainly, most definitely.
Yeah. Great. So the 7 countries that established itself initially with FIFA, as we just correctly said, out of Switzerland, where you're located, and Belgium, Denmark, France, Netherlands, which is Holland, Spain, Sweden, and well, Switzerland we mentioned. So we continue. Next slide. Okay, so these are the expected in law 4 of the players' equipment. And I want us to look at it carefully because there's always seems to be some issue with this, some of these. You can use undergarments. Yeah, you could use your tights under your shorts, but remember they must be of the same color of the sleeve or the shorts or the trim that you are wearing. They must be of the same color. Now, you may say you may have a multicolor jersey or you may have a multicolor shorts. Nothing wrong in that because you have major sponsors on board now. But then therefore, if you have to use an undergarment, it must be of the color that is more dominant on your jersey or on your pants. And you can wear such an undergarment. Now, when the new no jewelry had come out, and persons were asked not to wear any jewelry for safety of themselves and also safety of the opponents to avoid any unnecessary injuries. Initially, players would tape in these jewelries. But what happened is that after you sweat over a period of time, then the tape really, the importance of the tape is nullified. It no longer acts as any protective garment or attire. So now there is no jewelry permitted and no tape, so to speak. And again, I want us to bear in mind that sometimes we may see things happening in some matches and or some leagues and or some tournaments. But now that we are wiser, we should be able to say, okay, this is supposed to be addressed. This is not what it is. because they just need to be enforced. These 17 laws need to be enforced by the match officials. As we could see there, I don't need to read the others, but you would have seen for yourself what it speaks about. Let's next slide. And remember, some of these things were literally banned before, but now as long as they are non-dangerous protective equipment, for example, the headgear, face mask, knee and arm protectors made of soft, lightweight padded material is permitted as a goalkeeper, caps, and sports spectacles. But there are some guidelines here that you need to be mindful of if in the event that they are used, that they conform to the guidelines. Yes, you've seen eye guards, yes. Imtiaz? Yes, that's correct. Eye guards are also one of them too. Why is it that a team on the field must comprise of 11 players and not more? So Solomon is asking, this is not laughing at you, by the way, it's just having enjoyment. I just enjoy being part of the interpretation and the application of the law so much that I get so much fun out of it. Is that one can always argue, well, it could have been 12, it could have been 13, 14, 15, 16, but you have to stop at some number. So they arrive at 11, of which 10 of your teammates are on the outfield and one is a goalkeeper. And by the way, you know that out of your team, one of your players must be a goalkeeper. So that person is specifically identified in your team list. Now you speak about less than, you could play a game officially. Officially, it's very important what I'm saying. Officially, you can play a game as long as you have 7 or more players on your team. If it goes under 7, then the game will be abandoned. You're not permitted to play the game with more than or less than 7 players, except in cases which is unique situations where you have, for example, kicks at the penalty mark, which determines actually kicks at the penalty mark really doesn't have anything to do with the 90 minutes or extra time of the game. The kicks from the penalty mark are just there to get or determine the winner of a game. That's all. That's why cards or persons who have been issued cards, maybe yellow cards during the normal 90 minutes or extra time, that is not considered when you go into kicks at the penalty mark. So then your cards are removed and you start afresh from the kicks at the penalty mark. I am seeing, did I see a question there? I see someone's hand was up for a question.
Yes, we had somebody's hand up, yes.
Go ahead, identify yourself, ask the question.
Ralph Stowe. Back to the players' equipment that you had displayed on the previous slide.
Yes.
The T-shirt that you have displayed with regards to the undergarment for the T-shirt.
Yes.
You talk about the undergarment being the
predominant color
of the sleeve. In that instance where you have mixed color there for that T-shirt, which would you suggest is the dominant color?
All right, let's go back at this slide quickly. Could you go back at the equipment? All right, so that's quite an interesting part now, because basically it's a very good observation and a good question. Because if you look at it closely, you're basically seeing an equal amount of blue and an equal amount of what you would call that, burgundy, is it?
Burgundy and maroon.
Yeah, burgundy or maroon, right? So therefore, and then you have a bit of yellow. So yellow is definitely will not be considered, or white will not be considered. So therefore, since there's an equal amount of color for blue and maroon or burgundy, then either one of your undergarment could be permitted in this case. Understand? But more important, what will be more importantly now there is that if you look at the sleeve now, The sleeve has the upper part, which is blue, but the lower part, which is maroon. So you'll want to lean more or less to the side where it is maroon, because that one will now be an extension of the undergarment moving on to the rest of the arm. You following?
Yes, I'm following. I don't want to agree with the lower part of the sleeve being as an extension of the undergarment.
That's correct, because you see what happened in this case now. If you were supposed to have a choice of choosing one, then you'll have to go the way definitely of the one that is nearest to the real part of the skin, which in this case will be the maroon or the burgundy that you're seeing there. All right.
Yes, because you don't want to have players having and the same team having different.
That's correct. That is correct. Beautiful. Okay. Lovely. Good observation. I think I saw. You're welcome.
Somebody's asking, Merere, is the hijab allowed in women's football if that's part of the religious?
As long as the attire in no way will be dangerous to the player or injurious to the opposing players. It can be used, as we have seen. All right.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Can we move on? I see two participants' hands raised.
Right, Merere, I just wanted to and I saw Linda put it in the chat as well, regarding the two colors, the maroon or the
we just agree with it that all teams must wear the same undergarment.
Must wear the same, must be the same.
Yeah. All right. And I think we clear that up with the fact that it will be most likely the color that is nearest to the skin or the arm, that will be the one that will be considered. All right. Any other question? Any other questions? If not, we can move on.
Yes. So again, sorry about asking these questions, so many questions. One that came to mind.
Does it pertain to this? Does it pertain to the slide that we have done already? Any one of the slides?
Yeah. With regards to players who have like hair that is long, like a Rastaman, that hasn't loose, can that be considered dangerous, or should it be bungled or secured in a way so that it doesn't swing while in play and cause injury to another player? What are the rules with regards to that?
Good observation there. You remember Brent Sancho represented Trinidad and Tobago in the World Cup in 2006 against England. He had his Rasta hairstyle all out loose, and it was held by, well, you know the player, and capitalized on it, and a goal was scored. All right. But as it is right now, if the players are allowed to use their hairstyle, but I think what will be considered is if as we're moving forward, FIFA, that is an IFAB, realize that it will become a problem, because the same is being said of dreadlocks, could also be said of the young ladies that have their hair also out loose, if they will now have to put it into a ponytail or something like that. So these things will have to be taken in consideration, but there is nothing that is presently in the law that speaks about putting all of your hair into one given spot. But I think in moving forward, that could also be one of the areas that could be considered if it become injurious to the player or others who may be on the field of play. Okay. Any other question there? If not, we could move on. Right, the duration of the match, 2 equal periods of 45 minutes. And this is one of the questions that was asked a little lower or a little earlier about the halftime interval. Now remember, it's always important to look at the terminology or the wording, all right? The halftime must not go more than 15 minutes. So it cannot be less unless there is an agreement by the two teams, of which the two teams must agree, or if there's an agreement with the two teams and the competition or the organizers of the tournament. But it's from 15 minutes from the time the whistle was blown for the halftime to the next whistle when it is blown, that will conclude the 15 minutes for the halftime. Then we have the 2 equal periods of extra time. which is basically placed there to determine the winner of the game. Again, these things will be based on competition rules. If there's going to be extra time, for example, I know as we have it in the intercol in the secondary school football league, there is no extra time in the intercol knockout stages. Then we have the introduction of water breaks based on the humidity at any given time, or cooling down breaks. It is also part of the health factors that are now considered to ensure the safety of the players. So you can see where the water breaks 1 minute in each half, and the cooling down breaks maximum of 3 minutes in each half. Please bear in mind at any given time, when these breaks are given, the players are to remain, the players who are at that point in time playing the game must remain on the field of play. They are not to depart or go off the field of play unless they ask for permission to do so, because remember, if you leave the field of play without the referee's permission, you could be cautioned. And if you enter the field of play again without the referee's permission, you could be cautioned by being shown the yellow card. So we don't want that to happen. No, I'm seeing kind of water break be used as a technical break. Well, the team can use it when it is given by the referee, which means before the match starts, it will be agreed upon that in the 30th minute of the 45-minute half, the water break will be taken. So they cannot take that. It's not to say like in futsal, where you could ask for a timeout. You're entitled to take your timeout at any point in time in that half. In the 11er side, a water minute break is given for 1 for each half, and it is when it reaches that time, which is the 30th minute of the play, then it is given. Now, it could be agreed as 25 minutes, it could be agreed as for 35 minutes, but officially under FIFA, it's the 30th minute of the play where the water break is taken for both teams. So you could share all the technical information to your team at that time. As seen here, specifically the coach, somebody asked a question there. Specifically, the coach can pull his players together. I guess that is coming from the water break that I just explained, okay? Thank you, next slide. All right, and these are all allowance for time loss. If you want to look specifically at the delay relating to VAR, checks and reviews, right? Time has to also be added on for that. So you have added on time or allowed time, and it's for substitution, assessment, etc., like time wasting. Yes, I've seen a question from Sto. There is a difference between water break and cool down break, as I described before, where one is basically to deal with a situation where you have, based on the humidity, the cooling down break is where the situation is a lot more grave. That's why you have a lengthier time of 3 minutes to deal with it. Situations where players may definitely need that 3-minute rest rather than 1. Let's continue. So we look at law 10 here, determining the outcome of a match. And I want us to look at the last one in particular, of which we did mention earlier on that no warnings or cautions will be carried over if the game has to be decided by kicks from the penalty mark. Now, I'm glad I'm seeing the word warning. If during the match, for a penalty kick, there is an infringement or a breach of the procedure by the goalkeeper, and the goal hasn't scored, which means there will be a retake, then the referee will warn, I repeat, will warn the goalkeeper. If there is a second penalty against that goalkeeper's team, and he was to make another breach or infringe any of the penalty kick procedure, then because he or she was warned before, they will now be issued a yellow card. However, if the game goes into kicks at the penalty mark, which does not have any direct bearing on the result, which we didn't have before, of the 90 minutes and extra time, because that is why we have kicks from the penalty mark to get a winner. Then if a caution was given to the keeper during normal time, it is removed for kicks at the penalty mark when it arrives at that particular point. The same is done for any other player, where if they were cautioned before, then that caution is removed. I mean, obviously, if they were shown this card, the red card, we know fully well that they have to take that no longer part of the game. All right. Next slide, please. Right, a lot of information here, but I'm not going to read everything because what is more important, a lot of what I would have said before, it is right inside of here. As a matter of fact, some of it dealt with the question. If you look at bullet point number 2, you will see the referee tosses a coin again, and the team that wins the toss decides whether to take the first or second kick. So he would have tossed the coin firstly to determine which of the goals the kicks will be taken, and then he will decide, and then another coin will be toss will be taken as to which team wishes to kick first or allow the other team to kick first. Now, we have to bear in mind some things. Now remember, because of ground condition, a particular part or maybe one of the two goal areas may be one may be better than the other one, a lot better than the other one. And therefore, in light of that, it will have to be at a agreed position as to that particular goal that will be selected or chosen. Although referees that I remember that if within the penalty area it becomes unplayable because of the amount of water, then the game will have to be suspended. I say suspended, not abandoned, suspended for a period of time, just like maybe lights in the stadium being no lights in the stadium for a while. You'd have to suspend the game and wait for a given period of time to see if the current will return, or if a waterlogged field, the water could be removed of the penalty area in particular for game to resume. But if because of heavy downfall, the entire field is waterlogged, well then the referee and the refereeing team will have no choice than to abandon the game. Dorica, Adish.
Right, so Merere, what about in a crowd situation? So for example, we are into kicks on the penalty mark, but I'm the captain of side A, and I know that my supporters...
Could I interject one time here? One time?
Sure.
Right, because just for time purpose, right? I know the angle you're going, and I think we should realize it, that if there is that level of animosity, and there's a possibility of confrontation or even invading the field by the spectators on a particular side where the goal post is, then you will want to choose the safer side. As a matter of fact, even before for kicks at the penalty mark, right? Certainly during a game for a penalty kick, you cannot do nothing about that. You still have to take the penalty whichever side it is, because the organizers now and the home team will have to deal with their spectators. But even for a substitute that is coming off the field, if he realizes that if he comes off on the goal line nearest to where the opposing spectators are, and there's a possibility that he may be struck with a missile, then he will be encouraged, right, without wasting any time, to come off on a safer part of the field, which may be coming across to the touch line, as the case might be. So then again, that deals with the spirit of the law. Even the letter of the law says, this is what it is. A referee who masters the spirit of the law to ensure the safety of the players and the entire game is one who will definitely be a better one. When can a goal, right? Okay, Adesh? I've seen
Yes, that's
question
okay.
here. You're welcome. When can a goalkeeper be changed with regards to penalty kicks? Must it be done before the extra time period is completed? No. Good question. A goalkeeper is one who is considered as sacrosanct, which means he or she has special privileges that maybe the other players may not have, which means a goalkeeper can be changed at any time during a game, providing that the match official, in this case, the referee, is so informed. So the goalkeeper can be changed during the first half, during the second half, during the extra time. He can be changed even just before kicks at the penalty mark, or he can be changed during the kicks at the penalty mark when it has started, but he can only be replaced by a player who is still a substitute, an official substitute, and if all the substitutes have been used up, then he can only be replaced by one of his teammates who is presently on the field taking the kicks from the penalty mark. Okay? Beriton? Junior? All right, can we continue? Right, again, a number of what I would have said there is what we don't want to go in too much into the specific taking of the kick, but remember I did say, folks, which is a new part of the amendment, which is an amendment now with the goalkeeper, right? Is that if he breaches one of part of the guidelines or the procedure for taking the kick, and he has benefited by breaching it, then there must be a retake and he will be warned. First time offense. If he commits it another time, then he will be cautioned by being shown the yellow card. If it reaches the kicks at the penalty mark, then you have to squash any warnings or any yellow card that would have been given to him before and start afresh for kicks at the penalty mark. So the same thing applies for kicks at the penalty mark. If both the kicker and the goalkeeper infringe at the same time, the kicker is the one, and I want us to remember that in mind. Look at it in bulletin point here. The last one here, if both the goalkeeper and the kicker commit an offense at the same time, the kicker is recorded as miss. The kick is recorded as miss, and the kicker, not the goalkeeper, the kicker is cautioned, right? And we all know that if in taking a penalty kick or in taking kicks at the, well, it wouldn't apply in kicks at the penalty mark because the players, all the other players who except who is taking a kick, they are supposed to be in the center circle. So in a penalty kick, if both an attacker and a defending player encroaches, which means they come into the penalty area before the kick is taken, no matter what is the outcome of the kick, then the kick is going to be retaken. And remember now, it states categorically clear that a kick comes to an end when the ball basically stops rolling, which means when it comes, when the kick is fully completed, when the ball has come to a standstill or it has gone out of play. So if it is in play and it is rolling, you have to wait until it comes to that sudden stop or that abrupt stop or eventually stop. I think I saw a question. Devonish, if during this time, please, just want to get this question here. If during the final penalty kicks, decider, a red card is given to the goalkeeper, will another be allowed to replace him or her? Well, I think I answered that a little while ago. A game cannot be played without a goalkeeper, and you must have a goalkeeper. So the only way the game will be abandoned is if the game reaches to a point where it is less than 6 players. Otherwise than that, If you have substitutes still, then the goalkeeper can be replaced if he's given shown a red card, or if all the substitutes have been used up, then one of the outfield player who's taken a kick could replace the goalkeeper. All right, yes, I appreciate that, Dion Lafukat, because I realize the time, some interesting questions. Yes, next slide, please. Okay, again, this is just continuation of a number of what I would have said before, so I don't think I want to repeat myself. Next slide, please. We all know that if, for example, if you have five, well, not if, there are 5 kicks for each team, that the team that scores most amount of goals against the other team, they will be the winner in the 5 kicks. Kicks at the penalty mark. They don't even have to take all of their 5 kicks, but if they're in the lead and the other team cannot pass them, even after taking their last kick, that means that they will win. If, however, if after 5 versus 5, there's no outright winner, then they go to sudden death penalty, which means 1 versus 1, and then whoever fails to score, the winning team, the other team will be the winning team. Right? Any questions before we move to the other questions? All right, so could we go to the other questions quickly, please? Again, this is just to give you an idea or to have an idea of how, based on all that we are discussing, right, so we're looking at 11 and 12. We did 9 and 11, 10 already. So again, you just put on your answers quickly. Let's say about 20 seconds now for each question. So in seeing that you all are doing so well, we'll move from 30 seconds to 20 seconds. All right, question 11 and 12. Be careful when you're reading the question, you have correct answer and you have incorrect answer that you have to choose, right? And maybe what I will do is that we will give the answers one time to the questions, right, Lafukat? I think we'll do that one time.
Yeah, let's do it one time because
rather than have to come back.
Of time, yeah.
Yeah, in the interest of time, yes. 10 more seconds. Lovely, great. So if you had for number 11, you had B as your answer. Wow, you are correct. So a player who is in an outside position and leaves the field along the goal line is still considered to be on the field of play. You may not have that part of the word, but I'm putting it on. You're still considered to be on the field of play for offside decision making. So don't feel because you are off the field by the goal line that you are not to be considered, whether you are an attacker or a defender. You are still considered when the offside decision is to be determined. 12. The answer for 12 is C. A referee must caution a player who is penalized for an offside offense. That's not optional. There must be caution. And anybody could say what type of decision is given for an offside offense? A direct kick or an indirect kick?
Direct free kick.
Yeah, and then a what?
Indirect.
Free kick.
An indirect. Beautiful, an indirect. Lovely. Question 13 and 14. Lovely. 40 seconds. Lovely. So we're going at it now. Something It's cropping up here. So for question 13, the answer will be A. Getting a little problem here on the screen with something that is cropping up. Screen. Right, so question 13 will be A. And for question 14, the answer will be B. So could we go to 15 and 16? Trying to remove something from my screen. It's blocking my vision. Lovely. So the answers for 15 and 16 will be B. 15 is B. FIFA has, we continue with that. And the answer for 16 will be D. Right? Each player must kick once before a player takes a second kick and he kicks from the penalty mark. So we go into 17 and 18 now. Right, oh my boy. I forgot, are they seeing any questions there? Dion?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Oh, because something has cropped up on my screen now, blocking me from seeing what's happening.
You're not seeing, okay. Can you see the questions?
No, I'm not seeing the questions.
So, you want me to read the questions or?
All right, no, but the answer, you could just maybe read 17. The answer for 17 is A, so read A, please.
Only for security or ground conditions. Only for security or ground condition is poor at one side of the field, the kick must be taken at the other end. I believe it's the other. Okay.
And we did speak about that earlier on when Adish had that question. When not the ground condition, but he spoke about the security, the safety issue. Then 18 is C. Can you read C?
Law 18, question 18, law 4, select the correct incorrect answer. And the answer is C. A player's shirt has blood on it from a head injury. The referee can allow him to continue to play with it, and it does have the it doesn't have the end of it.
Right. Okay. And that would have been question number, that is 18.
That's
C.
18, yes.
C is the answer there. So if we move on now, we have the last two, number 19 and 20.
So number 19 will be to select the incorrect answer. Select the incorrect answer.
Right. You know, interestingly, while they are answering these questions, which basically will cover some parts of the laws, for a recruit doing a introductory part for becoming a referee out of the 17 laws. That will usually take almost about 2 months. That's about 2 months and a half based on the contact hours, which will be about 25 contact hours to 30, inclusive of revision, etc., before the exams. Yeah. And now with these additional amendments, we have to be very mindful of them. Right, so for question number 19, the answer is D.
Players who are not partaking in the drop ball procedure can be 2 meters from the drop zone.
Lovely. Good. And that would have been asking for
Incorrect
an
answer.
That's correct, because I think we should know by now for the drop ball, the players ought to be 4 meters away from the drop ball and not 2 meters, all right? The 2 meters actually is if a throw-in is supposed to take place, then the opposing player should not be less than 2 meters from where the thrower is. He must be at least 2 meters away from where the throw-in is taking place to avoid any unnecessary, maybe injury if he struck with the ball, or possibly maybe to avoid any confrontation by these 2 players. And number 20, it's B.
Which is to select the correct answer. If a match has extra time to determine a winner, the competition rules may allow an additional substitute.
Okay. And again, it's important to understand that if the competition rules allow it, then we work with it according to the competition rules. If, however, it goes according fully and strictly to FIFA rules, then you go according to FIFA rules. But there are some competition that may adjust slightly their rules based on the idiosyncratic or individual or unique situation that arise within their competition, and they may have certain consideration. So for example, their rule may be to have maybe 4 balls or 3 balls, match balls that is, permissible. And if that is the case, then I work with that. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the remaining questions. I trust that it will be a bit of a brainstorm there for you to see where you are as far as the correct answers are concerned, which is more important than just looking at them wrong, but seeing maybe, hey, oh, that's why that answer is the correct one. All right, we had another PowerPoint presentation to do, but Dion, I feel to avoid maybe rushing that one and to suffer the quality in the presentation of it, we already have exhausted the 2-hour time for the period for the session. So I want to take the opportunity to hold on it now. All right, and maybe at some point in time in the not too distant future, maybe we could continue with another session, even if it's a 1-hour session, to conclude that particular part that will allow us to address some others concerning the law 11 and law 12, which law 11 is the offside and law 12 fouls and misconduct. But an interesting 2-hour period, Dion, I can afford to say. A lot of very interesting observation, contributions, and questions being shared by the participants. And I am very eternally grateful for it. Once again, for affording me the opportunity to partake in this exercise and for the quality contributions being given. And Yale doing a fantastic job there as a technician. I'm so thankful. And let us continue to understand and appreciate the role of the match official, which by and large is not a very favorable choice when players retire from football, because I guess they know how demanding and challenging and possibly even stressful it can be, because maybe they have given so much issues to the referees when they were active as players. But having said that, and even as coaches, we have a role to play. We enjoy what we do, as difficult as it is, and we encourage each other to respect the various roles that people play, and the role of the referees, the match officials, and we're being able for the coaches and players to understand the authenticity, the relevance, and the credence in the interpretation and the application of the laws of the 70 laws critically important, especially the amendments, so that they will be on top of it in moving forward. So the more informed coaches are, I am sure, the more educated and informed the players will be, and therefore the quality of football will be at an optimum and excellent level. So I thank you once again for allowing me this opportunity, Dion.
Thank you very much, Merere. And what I will say on behalf of the participants, we will have you again, Merere, let's just call it to do part 2.
Yes.
Because it's very informative. And I know myself as a coach, sometimes you're not quite sure, I've been there, you're not quite sure the laws, and then you want to pretend to be arguing with the referee. And we don't even understand the laws of the game. So once we do understand the laws of the game and what is factual,
yes,
then we can have a amicable conversation with the referee, which
yes,
as regards to the facts of the law, and not so much opinions.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I want to also let the coaches know, as well as the players know, that there is nothing untoward or wrong in asking a question to the match official as the ref or assistant referee. Why did you make such a call, or even the fourth official? Why are you telling me to do so and so? But as long as it is done in a respectable manner, it is important.
And that's very important. So Merere, on behalf of the Trinidad Football Association, on behalf of the Trinidad Normalization Committee, FIFA Normalization Committee, we want to thank you. We are going to be seeing you soon, because within the next maybe 2-3 weeks, I'm going to invite you again to have the part 2, because this is very, very helpful for us. And Merere, just one quick question for you. Do you recommend that the coaches do some level of refereeing course as part of their development? Is that something you recommend?
Dion, you hit a massive nail on the head there. As a matter of fact, we would like the coaches to be able to, as a matter of fact, some coaches have done it. Some, for example, we have coaches inside there who are also referees, like Clint Macmillan, all right? One of our referees in the E-zone. But you are always at an advantageous position, not only if you do the referees course or have an idea of the laws of the game, but if you allow yourself to do something on fitness training as a coach, you allow yourself to do something on prevention and cure of injuries, something on nutrition, something on mental health, something on administrative arm of the game, so that therefore when you cover all areas, and I'm not only saying for the coaches, I'm saying the referee should also spread his wing and have an idea of the other areas, so that if an injury occurs on the field, he or she will have basic understanding of what the type of injury occurring and the urgency to get the medical staff on the field to deal with it, because you would have some basic idea of medical issues concerning injury. So it's good for all the stakeholders to afford and allow themselves to have information on the other areas that make up this beautiful game of football. Thank you.
And maybe as part of your additional presentation, we can talk about the invisible law 18.
Certainly, we cannot leave that one out. Law 18.
So thank you very much, everybody. You guys are fantastic. Can you just put a little note in the chat, guys, what you all thought of the presentation, or continue to put some notes in the chat, what you all thought of Merere's presentation, because lots of information. It's not something you can do in 2 hours. So we're going to have to do a second part of it. But we're very, very happy, Merere, that you could make the time. And from the time I asked you, you said, Dion, let's go for it. So really, really want to appreciate that. And we're going to have a mutual relationship and continue doing what is best for Trinidad and Tobago football. Thank you very much. So thank you very much, everybody. And stay tuned. We're going to be having some more seminars, different things coming up. We want to keep this going. Ongoing. So again, thank you very much, and God blesses to everybody.
Thank you very much. Be blessed. Stay safe, everyone.
So we'll give you guys like another 20 seconds, and then we're gonna come on. And this video should be up by tonight or tomorrow. So those of you who have the sharing, and please let other coaches know. Please let the other coaches know, and encourage them to come on as well, and to also look at this video. Thank you very much to Yale and Twine also for your fantastic job on the technical side of things. Thank you very much, Ian. I noticed with this seminar, guys don't like to leave, so it's quite good.
But that's good enough. That's a good sign. That's a good sign, Leo. That's a good sign. So keep up the great work you're doing. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All yours, Neil. Take it away, buddy.
So all the best, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you.